Good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Pigeon. You know it. I bring you some news, some update on the war in Iran. Yesterday, it was a deadline. President Trump gave 48 hours.
We're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah.
To decimate it, completely decimate it, bring to Stone Ages. Iran, he said yesterday night, our old civilization was about to die and never came back again. Yesterday, we know also there was a deal on a ceasefire. A ceasefire after the threat. You know, it was threat after threat. It was like a 5 day, it was 10 days, and it was 48 hours.
Remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open up the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down upon them. Glory be to God.
There is a third-party negotiator that was trying to create a bridge between US and Iran, a path to negotiate, to put end in this war. This negotiator, I think, is doing a great job. But he was talking to the Iranian, and the Iranian representative was putting some type of, a positive way, some type of statement to say that they may come to the table to negotiate, not directly, but with the Pakistanis negotiator, and to create a type of bridge to negotiate with the USA, indirectly. And after that, there was a big strike happened on Iran, Israel, and US strike. And 4 hours later, there is a coming out that say from the media, the negotiator, which is the Pakistanis, asked the president to at least give a 2-week ceasefire. And between the 2 weeks, they will try to create a path again for a potential discussion between them, and they will tell how it goes, and to have a type of communication, because the Iranian made it clear they were not going to discuss, they were not going to negotiate with the United States, because they are not just, there's no way, they say there's no way they're gonna trust a deal that's gonna be taking place between them and the United States. That's why they're trying to, run away from discussion, run away from any deal with the United States, because they've been burning in this, because first time, and back in January, they was in the middle of this discussion, in the middle of a negotiation, while they've been strike. It happened to them twice. And last time it was in February 28th, and they had made progress on the potential deal. They may, according to what they say, keep some type of, civilian purposes, enrichment, some type of, they need it for electricity, for hospital, to generate power. they was about to keep a little bit under, maybe around 3%, and they was going to put type of supervision by the United States. There's like atomic energy a surveillance that is going to have access to control the uranium enrichment in Iran, and they was about to have a deal. That's why they're trying to use a third party. They used to have direct contact, like Steve Witkoff and Kushner, were the negotiators that was directly involved in this negotiation. But after the main strike, they say they are not going to discuss with the United States. Yesterday, it was a deadline that was going to be taking place at 8. During the coming night, President Trump was saying that he was going to reduce Iran in the Stone Age back where they belong. President Trump said, okay. I bet President Trump was about to use a nuclear weapon. He was about to use a nuclear weapon. Because there is some Republican that was against that. And there's a lot of things happening too. They fired like 3 top generals in the army because of their position regarding the war. Pete Hegseth fired them because they have another perspective about the war. And guess what? President Trump said that they have to make a deal. They have to make a deal. And President Trump had 15 points, including ballistic missile, no nuclear weapon, no proxy relationship. No, they not gonna provide any support for the Houthis, the Hamas. They not going to support the militias in the region. I mean, their ally, they have to abandon completely their allies in their ballistic missile, in their nuclear program, and they are not allowed to have long-range missile that can reach Israel. They need to completely disarm. That's what President Trump had in his agenda, in his 15 points to end this war. But the Iranians, they have their own agenda. They have their own vision. If you accept it, they have their own vision. They have their own ambition. The Iranian, they have their own ambition to put an end on this war, because they say that they are not the one that started that war. They were not the one that started that war. They need full reparation. They need the U.S. to be out of the region. They need to have guarantee that they are not going to be attacked in the future, etc., etc. They come with a 10-point of ceasefire agreement. They say if U.S. wants them to have a ceasefire for 2 weeks, at least they need guarantee that they're not going to be attacked during that 2 weeks of ceasefire. Second, they need to continue enrich their uranium. They need to continue have relationship with their allies in the region, the militias, the Hamas, the Houthis, and they need to keep their ballistic missile. They need to have full control over the Strait of Hormuz. They need to recognize that they are the one that control the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, they want the United States to recognize that. They have 10 major points, and they want to continue, of course, with their missile program. Guess what? President Trump has nothing came out of his 15 points. His 15 points is dead. The Iranian is victorious in this ceasefire, because President Trump came out and says that they bring a 10 points that reasonable, that they can work on their 10 points. The Iranians 10 points. President Trump says that they can work on these 10 points, while he's put on the side his 15 points. Who's the winner in this situation? Who's the winner in, I don't know if they were gonna be restart after the ceasefire, but for now, the Iranian claiming victory, they said that they won. They won the war. Yes, last night it was a big festival. It was a big victory, cries for the Iranian. And by the way, President Trump was about to use a dirty bomb, maybe nuclear weapon. Everybody believed that President Trump was about to use a nuclear weapon against Iran, but some Republican was yelling against that, even invoked the 25th Amendment against the president. And the Congress.
30 congressional Democrats are calling on the cabinet to remove President Donald Trump from office over his threats to escalate the war in Iran and target civilian infrastructure. The calls come after Trump wrote on Truth Social Tuesday that Iran's, quote, whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, if Tehran doesn't agree to a deal with the United States. Democrats say that the threat,
as a congresswoman, she was really serious about it. She was trying to, and she was against. She always against, the Iranian government, as you know, they were acting bad. Bad government, corrupt, everything. But the people in the Iranians, what about them? Are you going to distract completely the country with 93 million people? That's what he was about to do. And there's a big alarm that came off the United States. The IRGC was claiming victory. I'm gonna let you see an update that Pig Headset came out with this morning, saying that the Iranian government was decimated. They have nothing, while they are agreed to their 10 points. They are agreed to their 10 points. They cannot do anything about it, because the United States wanted to have that ceasefire so bad. And Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's not gonna be happy about that. And I think he's gonna be continue strike. He's gonna be continue his strike on Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, things are not going well in this war on our side. Believe me, we are going to lose, and we are already lose this war. We are the losers. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna let you see what Pig Headset had to say about the ceasefire, about the war, and everybody are lying. Not only him, everybody are lying. Let's take a look.
Iran has been a threat to the United States and the free world for 47 years. Chants of death to America, targeting our people, killing Americans, lying and blackmailing their way toward a nuclear weapon, so they thought. No longer. Not on our watch. Other presidents marked time and kicked the can down the road. President Trump made history. From the strike that took out Qasem Soleimani, to tearing up the disastrous Obama-Iran deal, to the precision campaign that obliterated Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, to the decisive military victory we just achieved in Operation Epic Fury. No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. As the President truth this morning, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory. By any measure, Epic Fury decimated Iran's military and rendered it combat ineffective for years to come. You see, in less than 40 days, one of our combatant commands, Central Command, CENTCOM, using less than 10% of America's total combat power, dismantled one of the world's largest militaries. The world's leading state sponsor of terrorism proved utterly incapable of defending itself, its people, or its territory. We untied just a fraction of our strength, and Iran suffered a devastating military defeat. Together with our Israeli partners, America's military achieved every single objective, on plan, on schedule, exactly as laid out from day one. Iran's Navy is at the bottom of the sea, whether it's the Soleimani class, their frigate class, their prized drone aircraft carriers, submarines, mine layers, sunk. Iran's Air Force has been wiped out. Iran no longer has an air defense, any sort of a comprehensive air defense system. We own their skies. Their missile program is functionally destroyed. Launchers, production facilities, and existing stockpiles depleted and decimated. And almost completely ineffective. Iran shot hundreds and hundreds of missiles and one-way attack drones at our aircraft carrier. They were obsessed with it, and they never got even close. Every single one of those shots easily shot down miles and miles away from the Abe Lincoln. They were blowing ammo into fantasy.